Good morning, everybody, and welcome on this rainy Thursday morning. I am coming to you today because I had a chance to sit down and talk with Andrew from Merchant Services on different services that they could provide for businesses dealing with the new challenges of this pandemic, and also just overall services that they probably overlooked that you could definitely save a few bucks. So as always, we're trying to save money with little to no impact on your day-to-day lifestyle and schedule. So here we go. Here's Andrew. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and have a great day.
Morning, everybody. I'm Andrew Moran. I'm a certified payments professional with Merchant Solutions, LLC, and I help businesses more effectively and easily accept electronic payments, credit cards, ACH, debit cards, you name it. So we do that a few different ways. We look at efficiency in terms of what we could do to save a business money. So everybody, when they talk about credit card processing, the first thing they think of is what's the rate, what's the rate, what's the rate. So one thing we do is we show businesses how they could be more efficiently accepting credit cards to reduce their overall cost. We always look at rate efficiency, but we also look at technology efficiency. So are businesses using the most efficient ways to accept payment? So that gets into things like receivables, talking about how they're going to collect payment at the point of sale, how they're going to reconcile that payment back to their QuickBooks, their bank statements, et cetera. So, bringing in technology to make that more efficient. And then finally, it's service efficiency. A lot of processors, you have your sales agent and then you have your customer service line, and never do the two talk to each other. And the merchant, I can't tell you how often I go into businesses and there's silly little things that they didn't know, or they didn't know they could fix, or they've been meaning to update forever, and they just don't want to go through the hassle of trying to call some 800 number somewhere and go through a call tree and explain it. So big thing that we do is we bring a personal touch. So basically, with Merchant Solutions, it's from the first person you talk to, that becomes your account rep. So from day one you have a consultation, going over how we could save you money, what kind of efficiencies we could bring to the company. And that same person that walks you through that initial consultation is your ongoing account rep. So, even silly questions like, hey, I've got a password reset or something like that they can't figure out, right through to more complicated questions like, best practices, network security, hey, I saw this, how do I make this work in my business? So, that's what we focus on. Personally, I'm a certified payments professional, so that's the only professional accreditation in the merchant services business. So it's a little bit about Merchant Solutions and how we do things a little differently than most other processors out there. We all do that too with no application fees, no setup fees. We always do a no-term contract. You never know what's going to happen in business. I say, first of all, that keeps everything honest. If you're talking to somebody and you're setting up under a no-term contract, you better be right with the rates, you better be right with the service. But the other side of that too is businesses change, things happen. With businesses going out of business lately, a lot of those would be subject to cancellation fees and penalties on top of closing their business if they're under a term contract. Or it could even be something like a switch of software platforms, that they go to something that doesn't have a ready integration. I just recently had that come up. So again, always doing that no-term contract. You never know what the future holds. So that's something that we always take seriously. It's part of something that we always do, whether asked for or not. Talking about some things that are relevant at the moment. Right now we're looking at with COVID and, obviously with shutdowns, people working remotely, working from home. This has kind of opened a whole slew of new things that can be beneficial. So, previously contactless payments, that was one thing, the Apple Pays, your Tap to Pays. We get a lot of requests for that kind of setup, but very rarely did we see much usage on it outside of like a bakery or like a coffee shop kind of setup. Now we're seeing a lot of contactless payments, even places like mechanics, doctors' offices. They want to get into contactless payments. So that's something that we've been setting up a lot of contactless payments lately. With more employees working from home, this means that they might not have access to a physical terminal that sits on like a retail setup. So we've been setting up a lot of virtual terminals where employees can log in securely and process credit card transactions, even if they're working from home. As well, we've been setting up a lot of online payment forms so that, your customer, instead of coming in and paying you at the point of the transaction, or, an employee taking a phone call and keying that card number into a terminal, we're setting up online payment forms so that we just create the form. It's a hosted form. They just take a little snippet of HTML code, put it on their website, and now they can collect payments through their website. No additional setup security required. So that's another thing that has been very popular with what's been going on lately. A lot of it too has been going to online ordering, so e-commerce, and getting a lot of the businesses out there, restaurants in particular, set up to accept online orders. Accepting online orders, a lot of times people think, oh, I could just go to Grubhub or I could just go to DoorDash or whatever. A lot of these people don't realize is, those services cost the merchant that's accepting that. They charge 15, 20, 25% of the transaction. So they might only break even delivering your food if they're taking it through, one of those apps. Whereas we could set up direct online ordering so that, you can go in, order directly from that website for that, restaurant. Even have the same features like stored card on file, so you don't have to go get your credit card out every time you want to order. So, it's been a big thing too, is helping some of these restaurants out with their online and remote payments. That's a big part of what we've been doing lately, is getting businesses more ramped up to accept payments where it's not somebody physically walking in and handing them a card. That aside, that's all very reliant on a strong network. Whether it's a basic credit card terminal setup that doesn't want to connect, or whether it's one of these, new setups that we're doing that are going to require Wi-Fi, or, somebody working from home, whereas, your employees' internet was their own business before this whole thing happened. Now with a lot of people working remotely, working from home, well, if your employees' network goes down, that just effectively shut down your business operation, or at least the productivity that one employee is bringing to your, business operation. So this is a big reason why we've been working with LeBlanc Tech, just to make sure that we're shoring up those connections, because honestly, sometimes I'm the first person that gets that phone call. Hey, my terminal's broken. What's going on? Oh, it says connect error. Well, the terminal works. If it can't get to the internet, though, it's just it's a paperweight until it connects to the internet. So, and a little thing too with this is that we get a lot of these calls first because credit card terminals are more sensitive to internet interruptions than are, say, like a website or something like that. So let's say you're on your computer, you got a blip in your internet connection. A page might freeze for a second. With a terminal, when it doesn't connect, it doesn't reconnect automatically. You actually have to reset that internet connection to get it to pick up the router again, to get it to get back out to the internet. So, a lot of times people will call me saying, oh, but everything else works, just my terminal doesn't work. Well, there's a lot of little things that you have to do to make a terminal work. It's a little bit more sensitive. And so that's kind of where, this all came together, is that, we get a lot of the calls for poor network, poor connection, which is, really a direct referral over to LeBlanc to correct and make everything work seamlessly. So that's a little bit about Merchant Solutions and what we do. Like I said, the primary thing is credit card services, credit card, debit card acceptance. We also do ACH acceptance and ACH payment disbursements. We do point of sale systems. We do business funding. So like businesses that are looking for alternative funding, we could leverage their credit card receivables as an asset to get them funding. That's another service that we offer. We also offer ATM service. So a lot of times, obviously, there's kind of a movement away from cash, but particularly with some of these businesses that run a lot of small ticket transactions, we could actually put an ATM in there and a credit card terminal at a very low fee and help offset some of their credit sales with ATM cash transactions, and then let them get the surcharge when somebody takes the cash out of the ATM. That $2-3 you charge when you take your money out of the ATM, that goes somewhere. It goes to the ATM operator. So we just make the business owner the ATM operator, and now they're offsetting credit card fees with ATM fees that they're collecting. So it's kind of another thing that we do, is we bring these services together, as opposed to having your credit card processor in competition with your ATM provider, in competition with an ACH platform you might have. We could bring that all together and say, okay, here's how you do it. And then you put all these numbers together, and it drives down the overall cost, because you're saying, okay, you're creating efficiency on the credit side, you're creating efficiency on the cash side, and you're bringing it all together. So that's kind of another benefit of what we do, in that we have multiple channels that we can help a business through, so that we can give them an overall better solution as opposed to like a piecemeal solution. So it's a little about Merchant Solutions and what we do.